This restoration video starts after I've begun the project, so unfortunately you won't see the sign's original poor condition. 3 to 5 inches of 2 opposing corners were rusted away, probably from being stored on the ground. The video starts after disassembly and repairing 2 corners.
So this is the back of my railroad crossbuck. I've already done some repairs to it. I'll show you that right here. Right here is one of the corners that was rusted away. As you can see, some of the metal I welded in. This is the opposite corner that was rusted. The sign was resting on the ground with the 2 corners that I've showed you, and both the back of the sign as well as the front of the sign was damaged. This here too, these will be ground down the welds and cleaned up and then ultimately painted. This particular area right here is another rusted area. I've already begun to cut out some of the metal, as you can see by this line right here. I haven't finished it yet. I will pull that out. I will patch in a new piece there. I'd like to show you just how I taped each one of these off. This is simply blue painter's tape, the kind of the good stuff, the 3M things. It's simply 1 inch wide. You put it right over like this. Just barely touching the edge. Work it around. Use my fingernails to push it in. We'll do. And here we go, the entire crossing section of the sign has now been taped off. This is what the front looks like. As you can see, I have cleaned all of this off. Each cat's eye has been taped, and I have repainted this a satin black. Now the interesting thing here is that, like I said, all this seems to be black. There is white on these mounting pieces here. I have a feeling, if I'm just thinking about it, the post that was on here was a 6x6 white post. And maybe when the post was painted, paint splashed on here. Okay, so what I need to do is finish cutting off this section here. I've used the cutoff wheel and everything else in a angle grinder, but here I don't have one that small to get into this section here. I don't want to cut through this piece here, so we're going to try using this Dremel here, see how it gets us. Now I'll clean this up a little better with an angle grinder and such, but I don't want to cut any more of this out. This metal looks pretty good here. So what we have here is this was a section I had to cut out here due to a rot. I've made this piece here. I've fitted in, dry fitted. I'm going to take next steps to weld this in. I'm going to weld in the piece here and the piece here. So here we have the painted and fixed and repaired back side of the Crossbuck. You can see right here is a section where I welded in, painted it new. Right there at this corner here. That corner right there. So here is the finished and painted back side of the Crossbuck. Remember, I repaired this corner here. A corner here, you can tell there's no holes drilled here. I have to re-drill those holes. I repaired this corner here. I also cracked off this edge right here. I welded that, ground down the weld. So here we have the fasteners that attach the front of the Crossbuck onto the rear portion of it. It seems to be a safety or a anti-tamper because you have to have a special tool that fits in here. They are a brass carriage bolt. As you can see, they're square here, and they fit on top. They're pretty well oxidized and corroded for the life of this sign, which is probably from the 20s or 30s. I'm using a brass wire wheel brush to clean these up. Here we begin with our final assembly.